everybody. Welcome back once again to Happy Camper Radio, the only place to be when you're ready to talk camping. Camping is what we're about. Camping is all we talk about. It's episode 181. Happy New Year 2018 to each and every one of you. I am so excited to be back behind the microphone again. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about things you can do to keep the camping spirit alive within you during the off-season. Right now, the off-season is what it is for a lot of you folks. It's cold outside, it's snowing, and you really don't have camping on your mind, but you really want to keep it that way for the upcoming season. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve. I'll tell you what I do to keep my camping juices flowing on this edition of Happy Camper Radio.
Happy Camper Radio. Happy Camper Radio.
And as always, you can catch the Happy Camper Radio show in a lot of good places. You can find us on the iTunes Store and Podbean, MyRoguide, Stitcher, the BlackBerry Podcast Directory, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, and now on Spotify. Yes, I am so excited about this. Spotify recently accepted us to their fine list of podcast episodes, and if you're a Spotify subscriber, all you got to do is punch in Happy Camper Radio in the search engine. You'll find us right there. Also, for those of you who enjoy listening to the Happy Camper Radio show, you can catch us online, too. All you have to do is go to our website at www.happycamperradio.com and click on the podcast episode tab at the very top of the page, and you'll catch every one of our single episodes dating back all the way to day one. In what year was that? 2013. Yes, we've been doing this, folks, for a very long time. But I'm excited to be back again. I took a nice little rest here, and now I'm telling you, I feel refreshed. I'm raring to go. I would just love to load my gear up right now and find a place to go camping. That's just how excited I am about this upcoming year. I've got a lot of new gear to try out, and I'll be sharing a lot of that with you in the days ahead. You can catch the Happy Camper Radio show by calling 404-537-2267 if you want to get in touch with us. That's 404-537-CAMP. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Add us to Circles on Google+. And, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And when you subscribe to us on social media, we give you a shout-out on the program. Oh, yes, and I've got a few folks here I want to say hello to right now. In fact, right at the very top, let's start by some folks that I tied up again with recently here at a retirees breakfast. I finally convinced them to join us here on Facebook, to Cheryl King, John Upshaw, and Greg Loth. Hey, I'm so excited to have you folks on board. Also want to say hello to the folks at Road Breakers app, Jellystone Park in Natural Bridge, Virginia, Sean Eric Gray of Texas, Johnny Bennett of Fulton, Kentucky, Frank Lord of Round Hill, Virginia, Matt Adoris of England, Jason Core of Palos Heights, Illinois. They're following us on Twitter. And also, I'm going to give a shout out here to Stan Gray of Villa Rica, Georgia. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Glad to have you on board. And more importantly, thank you for being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. Want to be a guest on the program? I'd love to have you along. Get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Will definitely make that happen. During Christmas, did you get everything under the tree you were looking for? I hope you did. I certainly did. It's never too late to go out and buy some camping equipment, whether you buy it in the stores or buy it online. But during the Christmas holiday, some gifts were not arriving on the doorstep like they should have because of the so-called porch pirates. Now, if you don't know what a porch pirate is, these are individuals who have nothing better to do with their time than to go out and case neighborhoods and look for packages that are left on doorsteps by, say, maybe UPS, FedEx, or even the U.S. Postal Service. But the boxes are there waiting for someone to open the door and pick them up. Maybe there's nobody at home. But these porch pirates, what they will do is they go and snatch these boxes, hoping there's something valuable inside, and they steal it. I have no time in my life for porch pirates. If by chance you see anybody in your neighborhood doing this activity, doing this illegal activity, should I say, report them to the police immediately. Call 911, get a tag number if you possibly can, get a good description of the individual who stole these items from somebody who paid for it and worked for it, and turn them in. I'm not encouraging you to go out there and take matters into your own hands. You just never know who you're confronting and what they may have. I would avoid doing that altogether, but if you see some illegal activity like that going on, those people, they just make me sick. It just disgusts me because more and more people are purchasing items online, especially during the holidays, and that brings out more and more individuals like this who would rather go out and steal something than go out and work for it and pay for it themselves. So I have no time for porch pirates. If you happen to see any of that activity going on, whether it's the holidays or not, by all means, contact your local police. Also, I want to point out something here that I took notice of recently. Do you remember maybe about 6 months ago, we were talking about Gander Mountain, a really well-known sporting goods chain that recently closed up because of bankruptcy. And it really disappointed me because we had a Gander Mountain here in Snellville, Georgia, right up the street. And I remember a couple years ago going to their grand opening and meeting some celebrities there. You know, the alligator guy, the guy that goes out and wrestles and shoots alligators, he was there. I can't remember what his name was. But I was there opening day, and I bought some camping equipment. My 2 brand new butane camp stoves I bought there that day. Well, Gander Mountain only lasted in this area, I want to say a couple years before they went into bankruptcy and closed up. It was quite disappointing because I really enjoy shopping stores like that. Well, here recently, after that store closed, there was an announcement that came out, a press release just this past week, that Gander Mountain has now been bought out and is now opening under the new name Gander Outdoors. And by May of 2018, they're going to reopen 69 stores all across the United States. And I am excited about this. The only disappointing part is that they're not reopening this one here in Snellville. But the fact is that they're reopening, and it's going to be another place that you can go out and shop for great camping gear. So keep that in mind. Start looking for Gander Outdoors coming, hopefully, to a neighborhood near you. What are you folks doing right now during the off-season to keep the camping spirits alive within you and within your family? There are a lot of things that you can do. I would really hate to take something, an activity like camping, and at the end of one particular season just say, hey, that's it. I'm done with it. I'm going to forget about it, and I'll probably get excited about it again when the weather warms up and it's time to go out and do it all over again. For someone like myself who has camping in his blood, and this show right here is proof of that, I just cannot sit idle. There are things that I have to be doing at all times to keep myself motivated, to keep myself really pumped up and excited about this. Now, this is something I practice, I don't want to say on a daily basis, but because I am the type of an individual who really has camping on his mind a lot, I try to find things I can do to keep myself really excited and planning for my upcoming camping trips. Now, 2018 has a lot to offer, and I'm looking forward to getting out and getting reacquainted with nature once again. And one of the things that I do on a frequent basis to keep myself motivated is I take inventory of my gear. I can't begin to tell you the number of times over the years that I have gone camping and I thought that I had everything that I needed for that trip. And you know, there was always one thing that I ended up forgetting to bring. It bothered me. It irritated me. I didn't let it ruin my camping trip, but I made sure that the next time I went camping, that item was going to be there within my inventory, and there was going to be no problem at all with me having that item for my next camping trip. Case in point, not long ago, I went on a camping trip with a friend, and I had everything. He had everything. He's just as much into camping as I am. But we went out, and the next morning we woke up, and typically I am the first one up out of bed. I'm the one who usually fires up the coffee pot. I'm the one who usually starts cooking breakfast, and the aroma of that great smelling food works its way through the tents and draws everybody on outside. That's just how it works out. But I was really tired. I really got a good night's sleep, and I was the one who was awakened to the aroma of hot coffee brewing. And it got me out of the tent. And I was so excited. I was really pumped up. I was ready to start the day. And I was offered by my friend a cup of coffee that morning. And of course, I wasn't going to turn that down. He says, "You've got a coffee cup with you?" And I says, "I sure do." And I started looking through all my camping gear. And where is my coffee cup? It's not there. I don't know what happened to it. I begin to wonder if I left it at the campsite previous to this particular trip. But I was humiliated. I was embarrassed. I did not carry any styrofoam cups with me. I never do. Now, I carry some of those plastic drinking cups, but you're not going to drink coffee in that. And I had to hang my head low, and I had to explain, I don't know what I did with my coffee cup. He had no problem. I've got an extra one here. Okay, but I started my day off really rotten by not having my own gear with me to get through the day. So anyway, I changed that. I now carry 3 coffee cups with me when I go camping. And I think that's important too, because you never know who you're going to invite over to your campsite and be able to offer them a hot cup of coffee first thing in the morning. And if they don't have a coffee cup, you're going to make sure you have one for them that they could use. So it's important that you take inventory anytime that you've got camping on your mind or you're bored out of your mind and you need something to do. Break out your gear and start going through every single piece of equipment. Write down any of the items you think you may need for your next trip that you may not already have. You're sure to find something that's going to enhance your next camping trip. So start planning ahead. That's so important. Even if once a week you've got to break it out, just to go through it, that will get your juices flowing. That will get your excitement building. And you will be able to keep yourself motivated and excited for your upcoming camping season. Find better ways to organize your gear. If you're using these plastic totes, these big ones that I've shown pictures of them on social media, you know what I'm talking about. Distribute your supplies in a way that you can easily locate them and label the top of the totes. So when you have all of your gear there at camp, you won't have any problem locating certain items when you begin looking for them. Place all kitchen-related items in one tote by themselves. Your butane stoves, your tent heaters, your fuel hoses, put them in another. And again, make sure that you have everything labeled so you won't have any problem finding it. The last thing you want to do is carry 6 or 7 of these totes and begin to wonder, where is the coffee creamer? Where is the paper plates? And if you have everything all labeled, you won't have any problem with that. You'll be able to locate them very easily and get them out in just a matter of time. Think about an unfortunate incident that sticks in your head, like I just mentioned with the coffee cups. This will prompt you to become better prepared the next time you go camping. Find out when camping and RV shows are coming to town. If you're in the off-season right now, chances are you're going to find a camping and RV show somewhere near you. Right here in Georgia, we have one coming up next week. It's the Georgia Camping and RV Show. And if you happen to live in the metro Atlanta area, or you're planning on visiting Georgia, maybe if you're from Alabama, you're only about an hour away, come visit these shows. They've got a lot of great RVs to take a look at. Maybe you're not an RV person. Maybe you're a tent person like myself. But perhaps you're in the market for a new RV and you're looking around. These are the shows that you can get some of the greatest deals ever. And they're not high pressure. Everybody is there to have a good time. You're going to be rubbing elbows with campers just like yourself. And being around those type of people really, really builds your camping spirits. And they do these shows a couple times a year. I try to get to them when I can. We had one that used to come over here in the Gwinnett County area, which is not far from where I live. But because the show grew and more dealers started to participate, they had to move it to a larger venue. So they went over to the Cobb Galleria area, and they've got a big convention center over there. And that's where, now for me, I would have to take about maybe a 45-minute drive from where I live to visit the Georgia Camping and RV Show. But anyway, that one's coming to town next weekend. And if all goes well, I'm planning on visiting. You never know when you're going to bump into the Camp Talker. But check the newspapers, check the ads in your area, and find out when there is going to be a camping and RV show right in your particular area. Many of these dealers provide on-the-spot financing, too, if you're interested in buying a new RV and maybe thinking of upgrading. These are great places, like I say, you can meet fellow campers, and never once have I ever faced a high-pressure salesman encouraging me to buy. Most of the people who do attend these shows are there to browse. They're there to walk around and start dreaming, and that's pretty much what they do. Now, one of the things I want to point out about going to the camping and RV shows, watch out for vendors who may be there to try to sell you something other than camping gear. There may be a cell phone company trying to get you to switch providers. The last RV show that I attended, there was someone there trying to sell replacement windows for your home and kitchen cabinet refacing. They buy booth space also at these shows. And I'll tell you something else you need to be careful of. They plant the bait for you to come over to their particular booth. They will lay out pieces of candy on the countertop, and once they get your attention, they're going to try to pry your telephone number out of you. Never give your phone number out to anybody you don't know. Once they get your phone number, they are going to call you, and they will call you, and they will keep calling you until you tell them, do not call me anymore. I am not interested. But I understand, these are salespeople. They're out there to try to make a living too. But I really think they are in the wrong environment to sell those type of products. People who go to camping and RV shows are there for one reason. They're to enjoy that type of an atmosphere, and they're not really looking to be bothered by anybody else. But hey, that's just the way it goes. I'm just throwing that out there because these are some of the things you need to be aware of when you visit a camping and RV show. Many of these RV shows also have a website that you can visit for discounted tickets or coupons. Take advantage of those. And a piece of advice, dine out before you arrive. Some of these events are held in convention centers, and the food there is extremely high priced, especially in downtown Atlanta. Believe me, I've been to a couple convention centers there, and the food prices will kill you. Camping and RV shows are a terrific way to keep your camping spirits alive, so you can do that also. Join an online group. Are you someone who sits around the computer? Do you like visiting these groups? And maybe some people belong to a skiing group or a used car group or a hot rod car group. You can find a camping group online if you look close enough. When I bought my first computer back in the days, I'm going way back into the early 1990s now, when I really didn't know too much about computers, I signed up for an AOL account. Are they still around? I'm not using them anymore, but when I joined AOL, I found a camping group, and I had a wonderful interaction with people who had a love for camping just like myself. I got to know fellow campers from Georgia and Alabama and found myself online almost every night. Now, I'm not saying that's a healthy thing to do, but when you're into something like I am, when you're into camping like I am, you can get easily drawn into a group like this. And next thing you know, you're chatting with people who have an interest in something that you do. I even went on a couple of group camping trips with these individuals after I got to know them. Like always, use extreme caution when using the internet, when communicating online, because you never know who you're talking with. Never release personal information about yourself to anyone. Never agree to go camping, never agree to meet anyone unless you are absolutely, totally comfortable in doing that. Keep your guard up at all times. Use good common sense. Camp only at a public or a private campground. If you're planning on getting with a group of people you've never met before, you decided, all right, hey, this is a good group. We're going to go someplace where we can have fun. Make sure it is a public or private campground where there are a lot of fellow campers around. Again, only plan this trip after spending maybe 2 or 3 years communicating. Spend some time, get to know these individuals. Camping people are wonderful people. They're great people to be around. Plan a trip to your local sporting goods store. Make an entire day of it. Plan to hit maybe 2 or 3 stores in the same day. You can plan an event like this maybe a week down the road. You've got a Sunday available. You don't have anything to do after church. All your chores are caught up at the house. You don't want to sit around and be bored. The football season is now over, pretty much so. We've got a couple playoff games, a Super Bowl game ahead of us here. You can watch that. That's okay. But if everything else is out of the way, you don't want to sit around in front of the tube at home and be bored. Plan on a trip and go to some of these sporting goods stores in your area if you by chance happen to live in places where there are some. Plan to pick up something new for your camping inventory. I'm not saying you have to go out and spend $200 or $300. No, I don't like to go in and walk out the door without having bought something. But you don't have to break the bank, and you never do when you're buying camping equipment. So if you're looking for something to do, if you want to keep those camping juices flowing, if you want to make a day out of it, you want to take the family along, plan a trip to some of these local sporting goods stores. Frequently engage in online research. This is something you can do too. Find campgrounds that you've never been to before. If you're starting to plan a list of campgrounds that you may want to visit, take a look and see what off days you have coming up. Some folks leave out on a Friday and come back on a Sunday. If you're leaving out right after work on Friday, well, you better have a place to go to that's close by where you can get there and get set up while it's still daylight. But a lot of folks do that. They make a weekend out of it, and they come back home Sunday afternoon and start airing out the gear and putting it away for the next trip. But if you have some off time coming, if you have some days, say like the upcoming King holiday, and you're going to be planning them around the weekends where you, in other words, have an extended weekend, start planning trips for those particular weekends. Take a look and see where you may want to go. If you already know what your week-long camping trips are going to be and where they're going to be, start planning those as well. These are things that you can do to keep the excitement building. And another thing, start to budget for the upcoming year. Prepare a list of destinations where you're going to be going. Know how much money you're going to be spending. This is something that you can do. Put it out on paper. Make a family thing of it. Have all the family members participate. Climb into bed each night and start dreaming of snuggling in your sleeping bag. This is something I do, folks, almost on a nightly basis. If I'm rolling around in bed, if I've had a long day, I can't sleep, and I've just got so much on my mind. One of the things I do to keep myself really relaxed is while I'm laying there in bed, I start dreaming of lying in my sleeping bag. The lights are out. I open my eyes. I'm looking at the roof of the tent, not the roof of my ceiling in my bedroom. These are things that you can do to keep the camping spirits alive within you anytime that you're ready to go camping. There are so many things that you can do. I just mentioned a few of them. These are some of the things that keep me motivated throughout the course of the year during the off season, and some things that you can do to keep that camping spirit pumped up and excited within you so the next time that you go camping, you're all set to go and really to make the absolute best of it. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Happy Camper Radio. Happy Camper Radio.
This week we are going to the state of Georgia, my home state, and part of Lake Sidney Lanier, run by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. It's Bolding Mill. Bolding Mill Campground is an excellent choice for camping on Lake Sidney Lanier, offering plenty of comfortable amenities in addition to a well-kept facility. Visitors enjoy fishing, boating on the lake, as well as the lush picnic area and large swimming beach, perfect for families. I wouldn't go swimming in Lake Sidney Lanier, not right about now. In fact, the wind chill outside as I'm speaking is about 0. So plan that for the spring and the summer, okay? Lake Lanier spans 38,000 acres and 5 counties in North Georgia. The reservoir is known for its aqua blue coloring and spectacular scenery in the forested foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Bolding Mill Campground is on the northwest side of the lake, which has plenty of grass and shade for comfortable camping. The large swimming beach is a very popular spot to lay out and cool off during the summer months. An on-site boat ramp provides easy access to the lake for campers looking to spend their day on the waters. The campground offers 88 sites with water and electric hookups. There's also 9 tent-only sites. Campground conveniences include a laundry facility, playground, hot showers, and a swimming beach. Check out their activities and amenities right there on the website. Also, take note of the know before you go items. Check them out, too, before you head on out the door. Also, remember, don't move firewood. Protect your forest from those tree-killing pests by buying your firewood locally and burning it on site. Also, if you haven't already signed up for a recreation.gov account, here's your opportunity to do that. When you go to their webpage, look for the little gray box in the upper right-hand corner. It says sign in or sign up. You click on that, make your reservations online using the recreation.gov. Believe me, it makes your reservation process go so much smoother when you have a recreation.gov account. But if you're looking for a great place in the state of Georgia to go camping, if you're passing on through, this campground is open all the way through December 31st of 2018. It's Boulding Mill in Georgia. It is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Skip Huber on happycamperradio.com.
And as always, if you have a campground you would like for us to feature on the program, get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Be sure to include a link to the campground website. And that's going to wrap up today's episode 181, the first show of 2018. Glad to have you back, glad to be on board, and a lot of good camping days are ahead. Remember, friends, every pet deserves a loving home. I want you to do exactly like I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can find us online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Add us 2 Circles on Google+, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And no doubt about it, my friends, you hang around with me long enough, I will make a happy camper out of you. Talk to you again real soon. Have a good one, everybody. You're listening to Happy Camper Radio.